Hey guys, finally today a new KARDS balance patch was announced. It will be released on the 10th of February, so next week Thursday. 10 cards will be changed, and which ones they are, I will show you now. Alright guys, here we go. Starting with the long range Recon. It is finally getting nerfed. It now has Intel 1, but it is only healing for the amount of numbers of all cards on the battlefield. So no longer cards in hand are counting to this. It was mostly played in resistance decks that played barely any units. So I think no other deck played this card, and I think it might just disappear. What I'm questioning myself here is, since your HQ is also a card in your deck, because you can only have 39 units or orders, and then the 40th card is your HQ. If you have an empty board with only the HQs, is this healing for 2 or for 0? What do you guys think? A very interesting question. Because it's not saying units, it's saying cards. So I assume it's also counting the HQs for that. And yeah, you can have way more healing than you had with the older version, I guess. When the board is full, how much are there? 4 plus 13? You could have way more with the older version. So yeah, I think long range Recon might just disappear out of the game, and hopefully with it resistance. Because I think resistance alone with the liberation is not offering that many healing anymore, and we might see France resistance maybe coming back, but hopefully the Japan resistance version is disappearing. Then we have Calm Before the Storm. I think this nerf is targeting Britair, since Calm Before the Storm was very strong in Britair, Brit-Japan variant, giving all units +3/+1. It is keeping its effect, but it's just getting its cost increased. And I think this might bring naval supply run back into Britair over that, because 4K is very expensive. And if you compare it with the Alliance, for example, you get +2/+2, but your turn is not ending, so you get instant value out of the buff. So I think Calm Before the Storm might disappear, but not sure. But 4K is very expensive and very slow, and probably don't play it in the Brit-Japan Air variant. Then, a very strange one here, L640, getting his health reduced to 2, but the devs are argumenting that the nerf on that is just for the preparation for the next card that you see down there, the 99th Infantry, because this is getting buffed, and to not make the pizza deck too strong, that L640 deck for US Italy, where you have your L6, buff it, and 99th is now playing into that way more, so they give it 2 health now to not get this deck out of control. So L6, I mean, it was only valid in one deck, or maybe in like German Italy control to bounce your good deployment effect units. But other than that, and this deck it's not having the greatest effect if it's having 3 or 2 health. You just want the retreat effect. And yeah, L640 was not great. I'm not sure if the 99th buff that we are going to take a look now will change this. Because 99th Infantry Battalion is no longer bouncing units when you have control over the front line. No, it's now giving a friendly unit +2/+2 when you control the front line. A very strong effect for 2 credits, especially if you play L6 turn 1, then you play 99s as a backup. Suddenly you have a 3/4 in the front line. And now you see why they might have changed this to 2 health now on the L6. Because a 3/5, holy moly, turn 2, with this as a backup, that is also threatening to go to the front line the turn after. That's very frightening. And I like the change. I also wanted to see half-track change. Unfortunately, it's not in this patch, but I think this is a good start, because bounce can be so annoying. You have all the answers, like all guard units, but your opponent just keep bouncing them, hit your face, and you can't do anything. That's sometimes very frustrating. And so I like to see bounce getting a little bit reduced out of the game, have them on strong, big, heavy units and not on a 2-drop. And that's a good step into the correct direction there. Then we have another slight nerf to Britair, but only a slight one. It's not affecting too much game situations, but it can make a difference. HMS Illustrious is no longer spawning swordfish that have blitz on their card printed. No, it's just spawning 2 of them and then give them blitz. The difference is if you bounce the swordfish, it is no longer having blitz in your hand. So if you redeploy it, it's not having blitz. You have to wait 1 turn until you can operate it. That's the big difference. It's still a super strong card in the deck and interesting to see. I think it's not having the biggest effect. It's just some slight nerf there to, I don't know, keep it consistent. Then we have a very, very interesting change here. No surrender is getting changed. Cost increased to 5. But what you get for the cost increasement here is that all your light infantry units that you add to your support line, they have blitz. And holy moly, I can tell you that is such a big buff to tokens and this card in general. Because usually you have the problem that you're just not fast enough going to the front line, dealing with stuff in the front line. And this is really helping you out of that dilemma. And I'm pretty, as you saw, when was it? December season? We just climbed to Field Marshal, 25-star win streak with the old version of tokens. So you can imagine what the new tokens might be possible to do. And I'm so hyped to try out how good they are. And if this maybe becomes the new meta tokens, why not? Welcome back to 2019. Then we have the Argyllshire Highlanders. Yeah, I hope Bubbles is not slapping me for the pronunciation here. They're getting changed that they get +1/+1 now whenever you deploy or add a guard unit. Very interesting. I would like to see them also having guard maybe, but probably would be a little bit too strong. Honestly, I don't see that card being played more often because you don't have that many guards in your deck that you can make this, I don't know, 5/11 or stuff like that, or 5/10. So I like it more than the old version, I guess. Because it's also gaining health now. I don't know. I think it might not affect a lot here. But it's a good start, I guess. Not sure. I'm not really sure about that card. Wasn't the old variant better? Like an instant 4/6 when you deploy a guard instead of a 2/7. And as I said, it's not having guard on itself, so you cannot have 3 of these and they're buffing each other. Can be good in the 2-pounder deck. Maybe we try it out how good it is. But I'm not too convinced it is changing a lot. Then we have the dive bombing. Dive bombing is now dealing 1 damage fix. So before it just was -1 defense. 1 damage and set the unit's attack to 0 until your next turn. That can be good synergy. So you can now set any unit. It can be a 20/20. You just set the attack to 0. Kill the unit with a raiding brigade or with an amphibious assault. So very, very good synergies with some of these cards that are affected by a unit's attack. So maybe it finds a way into several decks, like maybe we see Japan, Germany control, who knows? Interesting change, and yeah, maybe a little bit more valid than it was before. I think they changed it the 3rd or 4th time already and still not found the way into the meta. Maybe this time. And the next one, look at this, Sonya, a bomber with a very strong effect. When this unit attacks a pinned unit, destroy it. And it's now costing 1. the biggest problem with Japan Air was that there is not that strong of an early game like Britair is offering, for example. Like they have 6 1K fighters or bombers, so airplanes. And Japan is having 1 Danade, I guess. And that's just not good enough to get early tempo in, to get board presence. And so they reduced the Sona's deployment cost to 1, making it a very strong turn 1 opening play for Japan. A bomber is always frightening when you on turn 1 when you face a deck, and this one also has a very, very strong effect. So actually, I think so the attention on the devs was to strengthen Japan air decks, but I think it's also helping Britair again, because usually you play Britain, Japan, and now you can have 8 1-drops in your deck. And this one is also synergizing very well with things like Albacore, Monty, Shelling, good pin cards, and then you have Sona on board, instant removal, very good. I really like the change, and I'm really looking forward to try that one out in Britair. And oh, it's already the last one. Scouting party. No longer scouting for anything, it's just having Intel 1 now, costing 3 only, and it adds 2 33rd Recons to your support line. I think that is the 1/2 that draws your card whenever it receives damage. Honestly, I'm not really sure if this will change anything about this card being played or not. Intel 1 is fine, but spending 3 credits just to add 2 units with 1 attack that do not have an instant effect is just too slow. So I don't really see any deck or any archetype where this would really fit in well. But maybe I'm wrong. But I'm not even sure if I like it more than the old version. It just had the potential to draw you 5 cards and to play a Japan mono deck, or maybe just some orders in it. And this one, I think the best one is the Intel 1, but what do you do with the Intel 1 as Japan? So I'm not sure, but interesting changes, very good changes. Some very problematics have been announced. I'm not sure if the US mid-range deck, the frontline control deck, is nerfed enough with the 99th change. I think no other nerf here was really addressing this deck. So I'm pretty excited to see if this will be the new strongest deck. It already was very strong and played in a lot of tournaments. And just this little change should stop this deck. I'm not really sure. I'm also excited to see if we see tokens coming back into the game. That would be really nuts, and we are definitely trying this out next Thursday. So yeah, guys, that's it for the changes. Let me know what you think about them. What cards do you like the most? What change do you like the least? And yeah, let me know in the comments. And hopefully we see each other in the next stream or in the next video. Bye bye.